At 2 a.m., a Ukrainian UJ-26 Beaver is cruising at 150 feet through the rolling hills south of Moscow. It's a routine deep strike mission until the operator's screen flashes blood red. An S-400 gravestone radar has just swept the sector, and a Pantsir S-1 battery is waking up 3 miles ahead. This just turned from a stealth mission into a high-stakes race for survival. Based on standard Russian reaction times, the operator has exactly 65 seconds to find a radar blind spot or watch $40,000 of tech turn into a fireball. The mission stakes couldn't be higher. The target is the Grand Palace at Tsaritsyno, a massive Gothic estate that serves as the symbolic heart of Russian imperial pride. Valued at hundreds of millions of dollars, this palace is where the Kremlin projects its image of eternal Russia. Ukraine is no longer just defending its borders, it is striking at the ego of the empire. This mission is a direct response to recent Russian strikes against Ukrainian civilians. By exploiting the dead zones in Russia's high-altitude radar coverage, the UJ-26 Beaver is using the palace's own gardens and rolling terrain as a shield. The drone is pushing 124 miles per hour through the darkness, vibrating with a distorted Katyusha remix playing through its external speakers. The operator in Kiev is looking for a total collapse of the Imperial symbol. This isn't a standard bombing run, it's a precision strike on a billion-dollar paperweight. Moscow is about to get smashed. The UJ-26 Beaver drops its altitude to 200 feet, hugging the jagged, forested terrain to stay beneath the radar horizon. High above, the Voronezh M early warning radar is scanning the stratosphere for ballistic missiles with a range of 3,700 miles. But at this altitude, it is effectively blind to anything smaller than a low-flying aircraft. The drone's carbon fiber skin is specifically designed to absorb the scattered pulses of the S-400's gravestone radar, making the 440-pound UAV nearly invisible against the dense ground clutter of the Russian countryside. Inside the drone's flight computer, AI pathfinding software is working at its limit, recalculating the trajectory every 50 milliseconds to avoid the 110 kilovolt power lines that crisscross this sector. For the operator in Kyiv, the mission has entered its most nerve-wracking phase. The navigation data shows a clear path forward, and the drone glides through the darkness at a steady 120 miles per hour. For a moment, it seems the stealth profile has successfully bypassed the outer layers of the Moscow defense net. But the environment suddenly turns hostile. A 40 miles per hour crosswind slams into the lightweight airframe, pushing the UJ-26 Beaver 15 feet off its flight path and directly toward a 300-foot steel communications tower. The operator's hands blur as he engages manual override, fighting the 500-mile satellite latency to bring the drone back under control. He can feel the airframe vibrating through the haptic feedback of his controls. It is like trying to navigate a race car through a narrow alley at triple-digit speeds with a 2-second delay on the steering wheel and no brakes. He wrenches the joystick to the right, stabilizing the drone just 10 feet from the tower's support cables. His heart is hammering against his ribs, but there is no time to breathe. He has successfully navigated the terrain, but the palace's inner defensive ring is about to wake up. 2:02 a.m. The electronic silence of the palace grounds is suddenly shattered. From the south, a swarm of 20 Decoy FPV drones screams across the lake at an altitude of 150 feet. Each 5-pound unit is a neon nightmare, rigged with high-intensity LEDs and external speakers blaring a distorted, high-decibel Katyusha remix. This is a deliberate provocation designed to be as loud and visible as possible to every sensor in the district. Inside a hardened bunker nearby, the Russian air defense team sees their radar displays erupt with activity. The Pantsir S-1 batteries surrounding the palace spring to life, their turrets rotating at 90 degrees per second. The tracking sensors struggle to assign priority as 20 identical thermal signatures weave through the trees. 257 E-6 missiles roar off the rails, accelerating to Mach 4 in under 2 seconds. They impact the lead decoys, turning $500 worth of plastic and hobby-grade electronics into a spectacular but strategically meaningless shower of fire over the water. The debris falls like burning rain, creating a thick layer of chemical smoke that begins to settle over the park. On the ground, the scene is pure chaos. More than 30 Russian guards from the Moscow military district scramble from their armored transport vehicles, clutching AK-12 rifles and Igla-S man-pads. They flood the palace grounds, their searchlights cutting through the 23-degree air, desperate to track the source of the mechanical screaming. A soldier fires an Igla-S man-pads. The missile locks onto a decoy's heat signature and detonates just 100 feet from a statue of Catherine the Great, filling the air with jagged tungsten fragments. The Russian commander smiles as his system logs its 8th kill in less than a minute. To him, the defense is a total success. He is supremely confident, convinced his $15 million system is winning the battle of attrition. But while the Pantsir is busy burning through its limited 12-missile magazine, the true predator remains a ghost. The UJ-26 Beaver is hovering just behind the curtain of smoke and ground clutter, its operator watching the entire engagement through a high-definition thermal feed. The Russian defense is working exactly as designed, but they are playing the wrong game. They are focused on the circus, while the assassin is already inside the perimeter. The blind spot is opening. 2:03 a.m. Russia activates the Krasuka 4, a heavy-duty electronic warfare system designed to blind everything from GPS satellites to low-Earth orbit aircraft. It begins pumping out high-power broadband noise across multiple frequency bands, creating an impenetrable wall of static. In the Kyiv bunker, the UJ-26 Beaver's radio link flickers and dies. The operator's screen turns into a blizzard of white noise. Electronic warfare is often misunderstood as a magic button, but it follows the strict laws of physics. Imagine you are trying to listen to a whisper across a crowded room. The Krasuka 4 is like someone standing next to you with a megaphone, screaming at the top of their lungs. If you rely on sound, you're finished. But the UJ-26 Beaver has a secondary eye that doesn't care about noise. The operator immediately engages the manual FPV override, switching the primary sensor to an uncooled long-wave infrared thermal imager. Jamming can bleep out a radio frequency, but it cannot jam the 47°C heat signature of a Palace's climate control system against the 23-degree night air. The UJ-26 Beaver is no longer listening for a signal. It is seeing heat. To bypass the remaining radar locks, the operator executes a maneuver that exploits the physics of multipath interference. He drops the drone to a mere 30 feet above the surface of the Tsaritsyno ponds. To a radar system, the flat, calm water acts like a mirror. The radar waves bounce off the water and the drone simultaneously, creating multiple ghost returns that confuse the Pantsir's fire control computer. It's like trying to grab a fish at the bottom of a pond. The refraction makes the target appear where it isn't. The UJ-26 Beaver is now zigzagging through the Palace's blind spot, using the dense oak trees and the rolling 1,000-acre terrain as a physical shield. A 5.7 E6 missile screams overhead, missing by 15 feet because the radar could not distinguish the drone from its own reflection on the water. The Russian commander's perfect defense is failing because it was built to kill high-altitude bombers, not a low-flying carbon fiber ghost that understands physics better than his operators. 2:04 a.m. The burning wreckage of the decoy drones combined with the chemical smoke from a Pantsir missile hit creates a thermal blackout zone directly in front of the UJ-26 Beaver's flight path. The infrared sensor, designed to detect subtle temperature differences, is suddenly overwhelmed by a 2,000-degree Fahrenheit wall of fire. The operator in Kyiv sees his screen erupt into a blinding white glare. He has lost visual lock on the Grand Palace. Simultaneously, the Russian ground teams on the hills surrounding the palace execute their final desperate defense. They aren't just firing AK-12S, they've deployed high-intensity spotlights that cut through the darkness, hoping to dazzle the drone's optical sensors. A soldier on a nearby ridge launches an Igla-S man-pads. The missile streaks toward the Beaver, its seeker head locked onto the drone's engine heat. But this is where Ukraine reveals its technological ace in the hole. Inside the UJ-26 Beaver, a high-end onboard processor running AI-driven scene-matching software takes over. Even with the operator blinded by smoke and flares, the drone doesn't miss a beat. It uses its inertial measurement unit, a suite of solid-state gyroscopes and accelerometers, to track its position in 3D space with a precision of less than 4 inches. It doesn't need to see the palace anymore. It has already memorized the geometry of the target from satellite maps and its earlier approach. The drone executes a violent pre-programmed evasive jink. The Igla-S missile, traveling at over 1,300 feet per second, screams past the Beaver's tail, missing by less than 10 feet. The proximity fuse detonates, sending a massive shockwave that slams into the 440-pound airframe. The drone tilts 45 degrees, its carbon fiber wings groaning under the G-load. In the Kyiv bunker, the operator's joystick vibrates so hard it nearly slips from his grip. For a split second, the Beaver is in a stall, falling toward the frozen pond. The UJ-26 Beaver's engine screams, the 124 miles per hour airflow over the control surfaces giving it the lift it needs to pull out of the dive just 20 feet above the ground. On the Russian side, the commander is in a state of pure panic. His radar shows a target that disappears, reappears, and survives hits that should have vaporized a fighter jet. "It's not a drone," he screams into his radio, "it's a ghost!" But it is a masterclass in layered chaos. The very smoke meant to obscure the palace has now become the Beaver's shield, hiding it from the Russian spotlights and small arms fire. The UJ-26 Beaver has survived the fire, the jamming, and the missiles. It is now in its terminal dive. The math is finished. The only thing left is physics. 2:05 a.m. The UJ-26 Beaver is now less than 500 feet from the central dome of the Grand Palace. On the ground, the scene has devolved into total desperation. Russian guards on the surrounding ridges are firing AK-12 rifles on full automatic, their tracers carving bright green arcs through the 23-degree air like angry fireflies. They are trying to hit a target moving at 180 feet per second with unguided small arms, a feat of ballistics that is mathematically impossible under these conditions. At exactly 2:07 a.m., the UJ-26 Beaver impacts the Grand Palace at Tsaritsyno at 300 miles per hour. The 44-pound tandem warhead performs exactly as designed for bunker-busting operations. The precursor charge detonates first, utilizing a shaped copper jet to vaporize a hole through 2 feet of reinforced concrete and 18th-century masonry. Milliseconds later, the primary high-explosive charge is propelled into the interior of the Grand Hall before detonating. The physics of the explosion are devastating. The sudden release of energy creates an overpressure wave of 200 pounds per square inch, which treats the palace's structural integrity like a mere suggestion. Stone columns are pulverized instantly, and the massive Gothic roof begins a domino effect collapse into the ballroom below. The temperature at the heart of the blast exceeds 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit, instantly igniting the specialized electrical systems and ornate wooden finishings. But the real destruction comes from the secondary effects. The shockwave shatters every one of the palace's windows within a 500-foot radius, sending a lethal rain of glass shards through the park. The palace's complex climate control and lighting systems, symbols of modern Russian luxury, short circuit, sparking massive fires that spread through the interconnected greenhouses. The strategic fallout is even more damaging than the structural collapse. Ukraine has just traded a $40,000 drone for a Desan symbol valued at over $100 million. They have forced the Kremlin to face a humiliating reality. If they cannot protect Catherine the Great's palace in the heart of Moscow, they cannot protect anything. The Russian military is now faced with a catastrophic choice. To prevent another carnival at a high-value symbol, they must pull dozens of Pantsir S-1 and S-400 batteries away from the front lines in Ukraine to ring-fence Moscow's palaces. Every drone that hits a symbolic target in the capital creates a massive hole in the air defense of the occupied territories. Which Russian Imperial symbol should be smashed next? The fuel depots of Rostov or another dacha in the suburbs? Let us know in the comments below. Bye for now.